Hello and welcome to The German Guy Reviews. Let's talk about Matt Stone and Trey Parker for a moment. Nobody, I repeat, nobody on this entire planet can do comedy like these two men. These guys have a built-in genetic sensor that makes them detect and analyze the political landscape of America like no one else. Best proof of this is their work, which is just smart. South Park is without any discussion one of the most clever shows out there, with a razor-sharp understanding of current events in the States. Same goes for their other work in Team America. It is a brutally honest take on American foreign politics, freedom obsession, culture, Hollywood, conservatives, liberals, action movies, and it's a great musical. And also funny. Really funny. The thing that I always liked about these two is that they always try to challenge your own perception about the world. In a country overrun with ignorance, they fight this ignorance with an open mind and brilliant satire. And in using humor, they make the insanity all the more obvious. Just think about this for a moment. People called this movie racist because one of the characters, a puppet, was completely god-awful dressed as a terrorist. It's just so wonderful to see how a movie can use techniques like these to fight against this unbearable political correctness that calls everything at all times racist and bigoted. It exposes these idiocies so that any person with a normal functioning brain can say, "God in heaven, it's just a movie. You are ranting against the puppet, you psycho." Or how they use simplistic yet effective ways to explain our very complex world. Dicks and pussies indeed. Left-wing hypocrisy, right-wing hypocrisy. Left-wing lunacy, right-wing lunacy. I respect that a lot. These two men, they don't twist the truth in order to pander to any political group like some do. When they see stupid, they call it stupid, and they don't care on which side of the political spectrum it is. This movie is one of the things America needs to shake it out of its insanity. More interesting than the movie itself, however, are the reactions to it. Because those tell you more about the country you live in than any so-called news agencies combined. So, film critics took for example the fact that Team America constantly blows up buildings yet never hurts anybody, but the terrorist bombs do, as evidence that this movie is pro-right-wing. No, really. There are many more layers of this movie that deserve to be explored in film school, but the point is, it's a good movie, satirizing America's views of itself and the views it has about the world around it. The film doesn't make a statement about any political opinion so much as more about the holder of that opinion. It's not making a statement about Iraq or terrorism or dictatorships. More than anything, it's making a statement about a country that has unlearned the ability to properly evaluate complex events. As it is natural with famous entities, there are a lot of rip-offs that want to capitalize on their success and just copy the basic ideas, which brings us to our movie for today, Nazi Invasion Team Europe. Does it have the same satirical cleverness? Only one way to find out, so I invite you today to join me no matter if you are a dick, a pussy, a arsehole, nipple or armpit. We begin with what all movies should begin with, the German Luftwaffe attacking. Na, yeah. We see two pilots in battle before they get shot down, and as the planes hit the ground, the intro of the movie starts with a few classical World War II themed comic strips. After an unbelievable 4 minutes long intro scene, called Cinema Sins, we truly begin with Göring playing with toy soldiers. Metaphor. We then cut over to, oh my god, Gables, what happened to you? It's like he had a visit from the girl from the Ring movies. Or they wanted to make a Nazi puppet zombie movie, but then changed their mind in between. Anyways, Himmler joins the rascals, and he tells the gang about Hitler's newest plan to conquer England. Dig a tunnel underground, capture the Prime Minister Churchill, put him in a cage.
You see, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit.
One evil laugh and fading to black later, we meet our hero Chris, who is a farmer in the little village of Kent, East England. A community so small that it is reasonable to assume that half of the inhabitants are brothers and sisters. And I am allowed to make jokes about village people because I myself are from a small town. One that is so small that you just need to blink once in your car to drive past it. And when I think how many people are related in this place, I get goosebumps. But that is none of your concern. Anyway, it is time we meet our other characters. We have the Reverend, who seems to wear his war helmet at all times. Well, I get a lot of smirks too for never taking off my bulletproof vest. But we will see who gets the last laugh when the gangs of the inner cities take over the government and scatter across this country like a locust swarm. A guy named Captain English, sadly without superpowers, who is a little bit of a combination of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast and Zeb Brannigan, as he tells all the ladies how he single-handedly fought the Third Reich's army. And then we have the Reverend's daughter Daisy, who Chris of course has a crush on, which naturally her father, like any father in the history of ever, does not approve of.
What were you doing talking to that boy?
It's only Chris, Father. We used to be friends.
Don't be ridiculous, Daisy. The village orphan with those fat, retarded hands.
Well, you know what they say about guys with big hands. They are very good at plumbing. But all of a sudden, the peaceful village gets attacked by the Hindenburg.
Open the Bombay! Achtung!
Don't just stand there! Get your weapons! Fight back! Ask the fascists if you can resolve this whole conflict over a cup of tea! Do something! Then the Nazis drop a bomb. On a baby.
Oh shit! It's heading for the baby's pram!
And that is why we don't get to see Captain Place Your Nationality here in any other Marvel movie. Because every single one of them is a congressman in the International Parliament of douchebaggery. Luckily, Bad Karma catches Captain Bad Teeth as a mighty blow of wind redirects the bomb to him and lets it explode in his face. The citizens of Kent manage to wake up from their paralyzation and start shooting back. Unfortunately, the bullets do no harm. So they get out a really big gun, which happens to get stuck, but thanks to Chris' enormous freakishly big strong hands, the cannon gets pointed against the attackers and hits them where it really hurts. After the Hindenburg is defeated, we get introduced to a new character, the US pilot Billy Fist, who has a distinctively American introduction. Billy figures quickly out that the Nazis, who he thinks are communists, yeah, sounds about right, are causing trouble, so he decides to head to London. Now it is time for, in my opinion, the best thing in the whole movie, Churchill.
My dear countrymen, my dear friends, never in the field of human conflict was so much buggered up by so few for so many.
I don't know why I find this so funny, maybe it's just the toddler in me, but it's just so enjoyable to hear this man talk. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't even know how Churchill spoke before this movie, so I searched it on YouTube, and after I saw how accurate it is, I found it even more hilarious. I don't know, don't hate me, but sometimes something so simple as this can win me completely over.
At any rate, that is what we are going to try to do. That is the result of His Majesty's government.
Government indeed. Anyway, the Nazis don't seem to share my kind of humor as they start to burst in from the underground and Himmler orders the soldiers to shoot anyone on sight.
God's teeth!
Okay, hands down, God's teeth must be the best expression of shock ever. Since the regular military already has been defeated, it leaves the British no choice but to use the Indian Reserve Army. And you would think they would use this as an opportunity to make the most racist offensive jokes anyone can conceive, but no, they don't do that. Something I didn't at all expect. Kinda makes you think about entertainment in general when the most shocking thing to you in a long time is that you have not been shocked. Anyway, the reservists realize that they are going to lose this battle, so they pull a Lord of the Rings and light the beacon. Churchill orders anyone who is listening over the radio to come to his aid by going to Scotland. Chris, being the hero, encourages his village to fight for freedom, for justice, and the quiet British way. The Reverend, his daughter Daisy, and some French resistance fighter man that has arrived at the shore a couple of days ago ride with him into battle on the Old Betty. Truly British engineering is something to be feared.
Im Namen der Bürger von London fordere ich Sie auf, sich zu ergeben.
They arrive just as the Nazi tanks are about to fire at the Downing Street number 10 after they accidentally hit number 9 and 11. Come on guys, you are representing our country here. They rescue the Prime Minister with the help of Billy Fist, and can I just say how amazing it is to see Churchill with a freaking machine gun? The group barely makes its escape as the Brown Army captures London. We get a lot of play on words that you usually see in an episode of Fairly Odd Parents, like the Ritz Café changing into the Fritz Café. Then we get a few scenes with Chris getting cock-blocked by Daisy's father. They arrive at the Great Wall of Scotland. Because the Scots are in this universe like King Kong, I guess? They make a big party to celebrate that they are all still alive, as Chris follows Mr. Churchill and stumbles across a cave where he investigates the paintings on the wall and finds out about his true origins. And for some reason he is capable of making perfect flashbacks out of the memories that he had as a baby. Meanwhile, the fascists are having a very Nazi Xmas.
Ta-da! Well, hello, boys.
My God, Adolf, you are pretty. Now there's a reason why you should have won the war. I want that face on the pound right now. But the Führer is not amused, because the deadly trio hasn't accomplished its actual mission, to capture Winston Churchill. So as always, Hitler makes a not at all stupid military decision, and orders the troops to move to Scotland to finish what they have started. We cut back to the brave and heroic party animals who sleep in their own vomit. But time to get sober as scouts report that a large Nazi force is approaching and they need to prepare for an attack as much as possible. So what do we need? A montage is a technique in film editing in which a series of short shots are edited into a sequence to condense space, time and information. The term has been used in various contexts. It was introduced to cinema primarily by Sergei Eisenstein, and early Soviet directors used it as a synonym for creative editing. Who said learning can't be fun? Don't worry, I will not drop any more Wikipedia knowledge on you. Churchill, who now looks like Napoleon I think, tells Chris that they definitely are going to lose the battle if they don't get help, so he sends him to ask the Scots for assistance. Because everybody knows the Scots will fight everything.
Brothers and sisters are natural enemies, like Englishmen and Scots, or Welshmen and Scots, or Japanese and Scots, or Scots and other Scots. Damn Scots! They ruined Scotland!
You Scots sure are a contentious people.
You just made an enemy for life!
When Hitler's army is ready to begin the siege, it leads to something you don't usually see in non-American movies: a good portion of patriotism. Good, jolly good, everybody. Good, jolly good. After this surprisingly moving scene, Chris gets captured by the Scottish and are about to decapitate him. But before it's too late, they see that he is one of them, so they bring him to their chief.
A soldier from England, is it? And what did they tell you in England? That we are complete savages?
The fact that you live in caves and kill everybody that enters your land gives that impression, yes. The British managed to hold off the attack for a day, so Himmler, who has no patience, sends in the Nazi chicks. Meanwhile, Chris persuaded the chief to help the Brits, and then we get a bunch of Braveheart jokes. Because sometimes you have to go for the obvious. Let's call them Nazi Spice Girls, are leading the attack on the wall and manage to break through. But just as it looks like that all hope is lost, Chris returns with the Scottish army ready to kick some butt. And it's glorious. This must be the ultimate riddle for a social justice warrior. Is he happy or offended that a woman that is a Nazi gets raped? After the ground troops are defeated, they need to get rid of the airship. So Captain America, see what I did there, rams himself against the Zeppelin of Goebbels, Himmler and Göring in Independence Day style fashion. For absolutely no reason, but he has the chance to say I am back and blow stuff up, so who cares? After the big three are taken out and the dead are buried, the Scots make Hitler flee London in his super hetero Queen of England mobile, and then the Scottish decide to go apeshit crazy and take over all of Britain. Oh yeah, and Captain Fist has survived the explosion. With constitutional magic powers, I guess. This movie is pretty awesome. I really like it a lot. The battle scenes are magnificent, and nobody on Earth can tell me CGI looks better than blowing up real props. It is, however, not a very good satirical movie. I mean, I did not expect Team America brilliance, who could ask for that, but why call it Team Europe if you have just one Frenchman in this who we almost never see, and then go around and parody Americans more than anything? If it was meant to be satire, then it was completely executed wrong. Yeah, we got a couple of jokes about this or that country, but with that premise of alternate timeline, they actually had the potential to make a deep, thought-provoking satire about Europe, our European Union, World War II, and so on. That's really my biggest complaint. They expected something completely different than what I got, but hey, it's still good. It is very silly and awkwardly structured and edited at times, but I think that was on purpose, so that the entire thing gets a genuine, it's so bad that it's good again feel. And to me, that's worth a watch. I am still the German guy, and I am out. Auf Wiedersehen.
bugger.